Hi, I'm Neil Hunt. I'm the digital content lead at TV Connect. I'm here with David Bailey, who heads up digital research at Formula One or F1. Sounds like a big job. What is the digital experience? What is it that you bring to the Formula One fan?
So at present, we've got the F1 website and the live timing app, which are both being relaunched later on in the year. This weekend, we're launching F1 TV. So for the first time, we'll have footage live from a race in the palm of a fan's hand. We're aiming for the kind of hardcore fans for this because you'll have 20 onboard cameras. You'll be able to view sector times, the tyre type they're using. So it's quite a unique experience that we're putting in their hands. And only the other week we launched F1 Fantasy as well. So a new F1 game online fans can kind of play across the world with each other.
And how do you go about supporting an experience like F1? You know, what is it that you're trying to bring? I mean, obviously, you know, there's the stats and statistics and the camera angles. It sounds amazing, but you know, how do you go about plotting and starting a project like that?
Yeah, so for F1 TV, we started off looking at existing research, and there was no existing research in Formula One. So where we looked to was Reddit, actually, which is a fantastic community of really passionate F1 fans, really passionate. And we asked them a few questions over a series of days in their forums, and it was clear that OTT streaming was their number one kind of thing they wanted to see. So we set about from that. Parallel to that as well as some decisions being made, but it was clear that that's something you had to put in the hands of the fans. But since then, there's been numerous research studies, different research projects such as social listening. We've done some pricing research, feature research, you name it, that's fed into, I think, what F1 TV is going to be this weekend.
Okay, and I suppose what can you add with OTT? I mean, you mentioned the different camera angles, but I suppose Formula One has been around for years. Interactive TV, we heard, has been around for 20 years this year. You know, what's new? What's changed? What's enabled this?
So I think right now it's internally we see this as a basic version actually of the app. What we're getting. So you mentioned the 20 onboard cameras. You mentioned the live view. We've got this nice Mario Kart view where you've got one driver on top of the other, and there's lots of stats in there, sector times, tyre types. But that's kind of the tip of the iceberg. In a race, there's about 2 terabytes of data coming through. That could be tyre temperature, that could be aerodynamics of a car. Who knows? It could even be like what's happening with the driver. And we're actually capturing about 3 gigabytes of that. We're actually taking that in. So there's a lot more that we could pull into that app in terms of data, be it through that F1 TV or other products. So that would be interesting when we're kind of doing research for stuff like that. Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, it plays well into the hands of kind of fan engagement, and there's been a lot of talk at TV Connect about personalisation. Is this driven more by audience demand and that need to kind of stay engaged with the fan, or is it seen as a commercial opportunity, or what's the balance between the two?
Yeah, so internally we have a bit of a mantra that the fans are coming first now, and I think one or two F1 journalists have picked up that it appears quite a lot in any kind of articles and interviews, but we mean that sincerely, that even some kind of research that I probably couldn't talk too much about that's happening right now, fans are potentially changing the way the sport is, and it's going to be based on their feedback. So it's exactly the same for digital as it is for what's happening on the track. We're listening to the fans. We want to take in their opinions through this research and feed it back to business to make change that's positive, of course.
So what do you see? You said it's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
What will, if not Formula One itself, but the digital experience, if you kind of look forward 2 or 3 years, we've kicked off all day talking about TV in 2022, for example. It's 4 years away.
Yeah.
Where do you see that for F1?
In 2022, I expect that we're having to balance let's take F1 TV. We're having to balance giving something for the avid fans and putting as much data as possible in their hands, so they've got this kind of directorial race director experience. Because, for example, at a racetrack, you've got something called a pit wall, where the kind of technical the team members for each team will be able to see all of what's happening in that car. They'll see what's happening to the driver, making a strategy. So imagine for the most avid fan to have that in years from now, that full experience, almost getting a similar experience to what's happened to the person making the big decisions for the team, when to overtake, that kind of stuff. Seeing that would be quite exciting. But at the same time, they're going to, we also in time want to have something that the more casual fans be able to get out of this. We don't want to overload the interface, so it's going to be balanced in that. But I see the direction is data because there's just so much of it compared to other sports. Formula One has a lot of information and data coming through.
And then I guess what are the challenges? Obviously you're dealing with the kind of the constructors and the kind of teams themselves. Are they happily giving away their trade secrets?
I think it's been raised before by drivers such as Lewis Hamilton, but it's all about balance. The fans want that data, and it's about speaking to the different parties and putting those pieces together to provide something that kind of fits all needs, I think, and being fair to all parties.
Brilliant. And TV Connect, you said it's your first experience of TV Connect.
First experience.
What is it you're looking for here, and how have you enjoyed your first day?
So my role here, I've spoken to a few kind of typically research, there's a couple here, research companies, but I think it's amazing how many companies just walking the floor. It's almost, when I first arrived, it's almost like a maze. There's so much going on. But I think my role here today is just to kind of report back on the innovations, because we're quite open now. It's kind of speaking to partners, and we are the pinnacle of motorsport, and we want to kind of, our technology set up to kind of reflect that.
And have you enjoyed the day?
I have indeed, yeah. It's been fantastic, yeah.
Brilliant. David, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.